Hello, class, receiving teachers and students.
Hello, Mr. Quality.
Right, thank you. You may sit down. Right, teachers, we're still on the same strand. The working scientifically, still on the same outcome, which is 7.1.1. Is critically questioning the understanding of the broader environment and make informed decisions based on the scientific methods. Our topic for today's lesson is measuring volume. Right, before we go into our new lesson, let's have a look at our last lesson. Teachers, in our last lesson, we looked at one of the instruments, which was the ruler. And we also looked at the length of measuring irregular objects. This time, we will be using the measuring cylinder. And we'll be measuring volumes of liquid and volume of certain solids. Okay, in front of you, in each group they should have the following. So in front of you, let's have a look at what materials you have brought for your lesson. Let's have a look at the materials that we have for our lesson. We have a measuring cylinder. Where's the measuring cylinder? We have a measuring cylinder, a container of water, a dry cell, marble, a pebble or stone, and nail. Class, can someone tell me what is the unit that we will use to measure volume? What is the unit that you use in volumes? Samuel? Okay, Samuel will give us the unit.
Milliliters.
Thank you, Samuel. Milliliters. Ruben?
Liters.
Liters. Thank you for those answers. We use milliliters and liters. So in this lesson, which one do you think we'll be using? Which of the two units will we be using? Walter? I have Walter.
Measuring cylinder.
Thank you. The instrument is measuring cylinder. What is the unit? Alan?
Milliliter.
Okay, milliliter. Right. In your activity, you will do two things first. First one, we will take the volume of the liquid. Then we will find the volume of solids. Right. I will do a demonstration with one group, and then you will do the rest, the other two examples, in your own groups. Okay, our instructions, we have our instructions on the whiteboard. So, the groups on my left, or you will read the instructions while we follow the instructions to do our first example. Right, group 7 at the back. We will do group 7. At group 7, the rest of you, let's read the instruction and we will do the example together. Here, first one example. Okay, group 7. Sorry, group 8. Okay, group 8, let's read instruction number 1. Class, what's our instruction number 1?
Half fill the measuring cylinder with water.
Good. Group 8, half fill the measuring cylinder with water. Now when you want to fill, what must you do? Tilt it sideways so the water doesn't spill. So stand, please. Always stand. Okay. Help your friend tilt the measuring cylinder halfway. Tilt it halfway. Okay. Now. Right, the water is filled. What is our instruction number 2? Okay, instruction number 2 is very important when you are reading your water level. Okay, let's have a look at the diagram on the whiteboard, which is for instruction number 2. Eyes this way. Instruction number 2. This diagram, you see 2 diagrams on the chart. We label this diagram A. And the next diagram, diagram B. Diagram A here shows you the water level. Shows you the water level. And diagram B also shows you the water level. This here is your eye. Can someone tell me which way is the correct way to read the water level? Diagram A or diagram B? Melvin?
Diagram B.
Diagram A. B. Sorry, B. Any others? Okay, thank you, Melvin. Our correct one is the diagram B. This curve is called the curve on the surface of the water is called the meniscus. Say the word meniscus. Meniscus. So this curve here, if you look closely when you're reading your water level on the measuring cylinder, you will see that the surface of water is not straight. It bends. So in this case, it will bend in your measuring cylinder. So you take your reading at the bottom of the water level, surface of the water level, which is the meniscus. So that is your instruction number 2. So group 8, what is our reading for the volume of water that you have filled? Colin?
150 milliliter.
150 milliliters on their measuring cylinder. Thank you, Callan. So their reading on the measuring cylinder that they have is 150 milliliters. Can you confirm? Your friend? Check if your friend is correct. Your eye level, straight down. Okay, that is where your level is. Not sideways, straight. You cannot see close to you. Okay? What is it?
140.
140.
40.
Okay, last one from your third group member, Donald.
149.
149. Okay. Our water level is 149 for group 7. Let's continue on with our instruction number 3. Instruction number 3 is record volume of water. Okay, did you record the volume of water? Did you write it down somewhere? Okay, write it down somewhere. Volume of water. Instruction number 4. Let's read instruction number 4. Okay, instruction, place a solid. Right. Hold it there. Right, you have to tie, you can either tie the solid with a piece of wire so it will be easy for you when you remove the solid. Okay, sink it down slowly to the bottom. All right, have a look. Instruction number 5. What is our instruction number 5, class? Okay. Now record. What is your answer? Right? Let's move on to our instruction number 6, which is, together again. Okay. Record your results on the table. Now we want to find the volume of solid. So this is your calculation. May I have your attention? Eyes to the front. Now when we come to instruction number 4, 5, and 6, we need to find the volume of the solid. So in group 8's case, it is the battery. What is the volume of the battery? So this is how you calculate to find the volume of a solid. So first volume that you took when you pour the water in to the measuring cylinder for group 8, was, Donald, can you give us what your first reading was for your group?
and 49.
149. So only just the volume of water only was 149 for group 8. Now volume of solid, volume of water with the solid with solid is what's the volume of water with solid when you place the solid in?
158.
Thank you, 158. So to find the volume of solid alone, what is our working out on? How do we calculate that? Colin?
Subtract.
Okay, we subtract. Now, what do we subtract? How do we subtract it? Do we subtract it like this? Volume of water, or 149 minus yes, how do we subtract? Sorry.
158 minus 149.
Okay, 158 minus
49.
149. What is your answer? What is the volume of solid now? Who's the quick one? Anyone? 158 minus 49. Okay, we have Manuel.
9 milliliter.
Very good, 9 millimeters. We cannot subtract 8 from 9, so we cancel. Leave that with 4, take 1 to make 18. 18 minus 9 is 9. 4 minus 4 is 0. 1 minus 1 is 0. So the volume of the battery is 9 millimeters. Okay, right. I think now you are clear on doing that. So you have few items there. I will give you about 15 minutes or less than that to do the next 2 items. Receiving teachers, you may do also the same with your class. Have them to measure the volume of liquid and a different solid, the volume of a different solid. Okay, also one reminder. I see somebody doing it, and that reminds me. Thank you for reminding me, group 8, 7. When you finish, put placing the solid in the water if you have the string, or if you did not attach the string, you may pour the water back into the container and then refill it again and try another solid. Very, very little change you can see, but we cannot see. It's another topic that we will cover later. Maybe when you go to grade 8, you will look at density. So let's try another object. It means that this one here is not heavier than the water. The density is very light. If you are using a different object, you may cross out the name of the object in your table and write the name of the object that you are using. When you finish, you may write your summary, your question. Okay. A summary. Write down the last, answer the last question summary. Missing letter E. Your findings. What did you find out when you did this? Okay, good. Rachel is there.
We're gonna do 3 of them together.
With everything and how they better stay what became in the cylinder sewing.
He took the measurements of the solids. Okay. Right.
In charge.
Oh, we took the volumes in milliliters.
We measured the cylinder.
Then we take the bubble.
All right. I think most of you are finished and recording your answers. Let's have a look at our units that we used for our activity. Okay, let's go back to our example that we did as a group, which is on the whiteboard. Our example that we demonstrated together, we found that the volume of solid is 9 millimeters. But since we are using solid, we change this millimeter, we convert to who can tell me what this is? Okay, we'll have our friend here. What's her name? Teresa. When we are measuring solids, what is this symbol for? What is this symbol? Cube?
Cube centimeter.
Cube centimeters, okay. It is cubic centimeters. This is the symbol. We spell it as, okay. It's our symbol. Okay, so you refer to your solid, volume of your solid as cubic centimeter. Okay. Teachers, you may find that there are different types of materials we use, mostly different sizes. But in this lesson, we are trying to get the reading of volumes using measuring cylinder. So we are having the students to practice reading the volume of liquid and solids correctly. So I hope you're doing the same with your students. And to finish off, we'll have one or anyone who would like to give us the last question in your workbook, your summary that you wrote down. Anyone would like to write down the summary? Anyone would like to write down the summary? Yes. Channel. Thank you.
Measuring volumes.
Measuring volumes. Okay. We'll have Walter, thank you, Channel, to give us the summary of their group, the question in their workbook.
Today's lesson was about measuring volumes. We use measuring cylinders to measure solids. What happens to them when you put them into the water? We measured solids unit.
Right, thank you, Walter. Anyone else? We'll have the last one. Agnes. We'll have Agnes. Okay, thank you, Agnes. Your group summary.
We use the measuring cylinder to find the milliliters and the volume of the three objects.
Okay, you used measuring cylinder, all used measuring cylinder to find the volume of the three objects, the volume of liquid and the volume of solid. Right. Our summary points, very important points that we did during our activity. The summary points, please take note of the summary points. There are 4 points which you need to remember when you are measuring the volume of liquids and solids. The summary point number 1 to remember is that the surface of the water is curved. And that curved surface is called, point number 2 is the meniscus. Third point you need to remember is when you are reading, all readings should be taken from the bottom of the curve. The 4th point, the eye must be level with the level of the water, which is the meniscus. Okay, our key phrase for today. Anyone would like to give us a key phrase for today? Name. Alan. Thank you, Alan. What would be our key phrase?
Measuring volume.
Let's see. Very good. I think you read my mind. Measuring volume. Thank you for your answer. Right, measuring volumes is our key phrase. Volume of liquid and volume of solids. Our next lesson topic, teachers and students, is will be measuring mass. These are the expected materials. If you do have them, you should provide them. If you don't, you may substitute the materials. The materials are as listed below. Bundle of pencils, 10 should be okay. 10 seeds in a small plastic bag that you use for popcorn would be a fair size, or a small bag that you can sew. 10 shells, also small bags. 10 pebbles, and a spring balance for each group you have. Right, with that, thank you, 7E. Thank you, receiving teachers and students, for your participation.
Welcome, Mr.